Alrighty, hello everybody. Hello everybody out in internet land. Ghostly crawls out of a hole. Where am I? That's how I feel right now, Ghostly. How you doing? How you doing out there? How was your hole that you were hibernating in? What is this place? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't even know anymore. I'm still recovering. Dude, I'm like a whole new person. Did you actually just go like hibernate? What so much has happened? Ghostly, it's been like 2 weeks. What happened in 2 weeks that made you a whole new person? I mean, there's an argument to be made we're a new person at every moment. But what I hope it's good. I hope it's good things. More than anything, but hopefully the time in the hibernation chamber. Oh, cool. I've been cast as the main character played. That's huge. That's awesome. Well, congrats, Ghostly. That's great. I also have tendinitis. Oh, really? Oh dear. Oh dear. Yeah. Well, yeah. Take care of that. Don't that's probably gonna affect your ability to write or like typing. But definitely take care of that, because the last thing you want is that like flaring up, and it'll get worse as you get older too. So Ghostly might be. Oh, it's in your knee. Really? It's in your knees? Tinnitus in your knee. Interesting. Ooh. Do you spend a lot? I can walk. I just can't walk. Okay. So Ghostly might be a ghost in the following months. Well, yeah. If you're doing a play, you're gonna be doing rehearsals. How long's the show for? Is it just like a weekend show, or are you gonna be performing? Is it gonna be like have a longer run, like a few months or? Okay, it's 2 weekends. Oh, that sounds like a blast, Ghostly. I'm very, very happy for you. That sounds like a good time. You're built like an old woman. Well, hopefully that it doesn't affect your ability to perform too badly. But are they I'm assuming did they give you anything for it, or is it just you need to spend less time on your feet? I mean, because pain meds only get you so far. They don't totally help you. But hopefully they can take care of at least. Oh, really? It's literally just ibuprofen? Oh, man. All right, well, take it easy, particularly because if you're going to be on stage and you're probably going to be doing a lot of rehearsals and running around, try and take it easy on the legs. Like, ease it up so it doesn't flare up. So that's what Dr. Wilight recommends. Medical professional. Absolutely educated and qualified to give out medical advice. Noted Doc-Light. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. That's sarcasm for anybody who can't tell by the inflection. Absolutely do not take medical advice from me. How is Wilight? I'm good. China was good. I had a great time. It was the rainy season, so I didn't get to go out and about quite as much. Well, I did. I went to the gardens and just got rained on because I wasn't gonna. I was just got tired of being stuck in the hotel. I did that. Went to go see. I actually got to go to the tower, go up to the rooftop tower because I didn't get to do that the last time I was in Shanghai. But yeah, had a good time in Shanghai. Came back. Still dealing with getting my sleep schedule back in order. And then last week was a mess. I had to deal with the UA and vet issues and running back and forth to the vet and all that kind of stuff. But why light? Because the dark is spooky. That's good. Hey, Maya. That's good. That's a good one. I like that. That's a good play. But no, it was yeah, it's been a little bit of like a chaotic return back to form, and I go to Maui next week, so I will be once again traveling at least partially across the Pacific to Hawaii for work. So I'll be gone for a whole week, a little bit over a week for that one. So my sleep schedule is just going to be a mess, I think. Is the current, and I might be changing stream schedules. Mainly because it is very hot right now. Um, it is very hot and it's killing my life. And of course, I'm streaming. My stream schedules are literally during the hottest part of the day, which is like from 3 to 6, which is literally when the sun is beating like at its it's at its hottest point here. So yeah, it'll probably go later. At least when it starts to cool down, because the computer adds so much heat that usually by the end of stream, I'm like so sweaty I feel like I'm gonna die. Like like I feel dehydrated just from sitting here. So, but yeah, it'll be later. It will definitely not be earlier. Bro, who needs sleep? Yeah, I used to be that way, Maya, when I was younger. I still probably don't get enough sleep, but I'm trying. I'm trying to be better about it, because it literally does take years off your life. Um, bro, you should feel the humidity here in Texas. Oh yeah, oh god, Maya. Oh god. I In Texas, absolutely. So fucking humid. You lose your keys and wallet as soon as you step out. Yeah. That's uh oh god, that's awful. That's awful. I mean, Texas is that's the worst thing about Texas, is that it's blazingly hot. You're in the desert, but then it's still humid, just ungodly. Somehow it's more humid in Texas. Yeah, I got my yeah, because it mugs you. Yeah, because it is muggy. Um, but yeah, it's I don't know. Like California, somehow we luck out where it's not quite as humid, but man, I do not envy you if you're in Texas. Ghostly might actually be here during the rehearsals, and well, that's great, huge, yay! All right, well, good. So I usually stream earlier because sometimes I have to go do social engagements in the evenings, or I'm working on other things. But as the summer's going, most of the people I hang out with in the evenings are back at work, and they're all working abroad. Well, some of them are like in Albuquerque. The one who's working on the new Netflix show, he's in Albuquerque for the next like 8 months. So I will not be hanging out with those folk till they get back. So it kind of like opens up my evening, so I can actually like do that. Yeah, no, Texas weather is an anomaly. Yeah, right. It don't make no sense. It doesn't, Maya. It's like it's insane. That's why I don't think anyone should live in Texas. Like Texas is just fries your brains. It does insane things. Nothing about it makes any sense. Question for the council, because Ghostly lives under a rock. For sure. Ask away, Ghostly. As the council, ask away. Um, uh, what's happening? Okay. Um, is the Canterville Ghost a known property? Y'all heard of it? The Canterville Ghost? No, I don't know what that is. Like, are you asking if that's a thing that's a real thing? Or are you asking if we've heard of said real thing? Oh, it's a movie. And a book. Oh man, they made a TV movie out of it. I'm sure that TV movie is fantastic, and apparently they just made a new movie. Is a 2023 British animated comedy film. It's based on the short story by the same name. Okay, I have not heard of this. This is all new to me, Ghostly. Apparently there's a version where Patrick Stewart is the ghost. Okay, alright. I'm interested. Oh, Neve Campbell's in it. Oh, I like Neve Campbell a lot. She's great in Scream. Okay, that's the play. Oh, that's the play? Oh, very cool. Very cool, Ghostly. gonna be in a play of that, and you're the lead. That is the lead, Virginia Ginny Otis, I assume. Um, Live in a Texas desert with no water for 100 miles. Here, have some lake level humidity. Yeah, it makes no sense. Yeah, at least in like Vegas where there's no water, it feels like there's no water. You know, it's just dry, desolate nightmare fuel. But yeah, it's like it's just a blazing heat that the completely it's the Gulf. It's just because you're near the Gulf of Mexico, and the weather's always insane down there. That's why I hate going to anytime I have to go to Houston. It's just because it's right on the ocean, so it's just brutal. But even it gets in. I mean, obviously Austin is muggy. It's super, super, super gross and muggy. Dallas too. I feel like Dallas isn't as bad, but yes, kind of main. Okay, yes, kind of main character. From what I hear, the stage is pretty spread out. Oh, okay, very cool. Well, that's awesome. Well, congrats, Ghostly. That's a big thing. I am very, very happy for you that you get to play lead in a play. Always support the theater craft here. It's a bummer. I would be doing a lot more theater, and particularly directing theater out here if I could, if there was any theater scene in LA, but the only scenes out here in LA are just improv scenes, and it's just improv scenes run by actors for agents. That's it. But I do miss theater a lot. I acted in high school and then directed a little bit in high school and college, and I miss it. It's very like, I mean, it costs money to put on a show, but it's definitely like less overhead than making a movie. And it's a lot more fun to work with actor, like the acting craft. It's not like quite as industrial as making a movie tends to be. Just call the local Texas weatherman. Call it local Texas weatherman. He'll cast a blessing on thee. Protect thine delicate hide from the Texas weather. That's for sure, Maya. Yep. Spoiler: I get to walk through a garden of death. What is that? I have absolutely no idea. But it's gonna be a good time. I mean, walking through a garden of death just sounds like that's kind of a cemetery. Cemeteries are kind of gardeny, I would assume, but maybe they grow corpses instead of flowers. I don't know. Or they're like death flowers. I'm not sure. But yeah, other than that, it sounds exciting. How's the writing going for everybody? How's everybody doing writing wise? Since I am behind on everything thanks to both the trip and then the last week and a half, so today is going to be, and because there were tech issues when we ran stream on Tuesday, so I'm hoping that those tech issues are resolved today. So if stream crashes, I apologize beforehand, because that seems to have been a thing repeatedly now. I think it's like a cosmic idea, like the concept of an afterlife. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. There's a really great animated movie that I really like called The Galactic Railroad. That's kind of like that. It's just a train going through space that's like flying through space, and it's kind of implies they're traveling through various different afterlives. It's an interesting meditation on life and death. And the main characters are cats, which always makes everything a lot more delightful. Ghostly, what writing? Yeah, I'm sure given how busy you've been, Ghostly, it's been tough going, but that's life. It's okay. Sometimes life does that. We have to be a little bit gentle with ourselves about that, about not getting all the writing done. You know what Ghostly's been thinking about a lot recently? What has Ghostly been thinking about a lot recently? Uh-huh. Is that so, Ghostly? Is that is that so? That's what Ghostly's been no joke. What? Oh, that's funny. I don't know. I'm still shocked that that's not a joke. I'm assuming the character and not the music venue that has immortalized said character. Been slow on writing, literal halt since I've been busy staying up till 4 a.m. and getting home at and getting home at 8 a.m. Ooh, God. Or getting up at 8 a.m. Oh, my God. Maya, why? I mean, that makes sense. Like, you're, like, but, oh. Are you working till 4? Like, what is keeping you up till 4? Or just general insomnia? Because, I mean, that could be the case, too. The boy just randomly pops into my brain. I'm just like, ah, yes, the baby boy. Yeah, he's an absurd character. You know, that he's an absurd character. That's for sure. Oh, that's funny. That's funny that just keeps popping into your head, Ghostly. That you still think about Virgil. We're almost there. I have some ideas about the rewrite for I have some ideas about the rewrite for that script. Um, Very different, very different. There's a part of me that wants to go very surreal horror film western with it, very like apocalyptically minded, um, end of time, but in a different way. Uh, a little less. We'll see. We'll see. I have some ideas. So I might dip back into it in a bit. But I've been racking up a hell of a list of changes for my chapters as well, world building to hell and back. It's good, Maya. It's good that you're still working on it though. It's good that you're still able to like. Sometimes you just kind of like gotta let that stuff settle and simmer in the back of your mind. But it's good that you're working on it. That's sometimes when life gets in the way. That's the only way you're gonna get any writing done. Is just kind of like, is just getting notes down when you can and kind of thinking about it in your sort of spare moments. I don't know if you know this, Wiley, but I love him dearly. I can tell, I'm not shocked by that fact, Ghostly. You seem very preoccupied with Virgil. If you make his movie, I insist you get Ghostly an autograph signed by his biggest fan, Ghostly. The funny thing is, making the movie, you're not even a fan of the actor. You'll just be a fan of the character. Like, you'll demand that he sign it, the character, not the actor, which would be infinitely funny. Simmer is such a nice word. Yeah. Virgil from Devil May Cry? No. Virgil from a script I wrote, Maya, from a Western horror film I wrote that Ghostly seems very partial to a side character in that script named Virgil. Yes, why would I want the actor's name? I mean, why not? Why? He must sign it Virgil because he has to actually be Virgil. Man. He's not a side character. He literally is a side character. He's one of the main group of characters, but he's not the main character. It's his world we're all living. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, no. The Virgil fan fiction is going to become a thing, isn't it? It's just, people are going to be writing fan fiction about Virgil. This is how it starts. This is how that whole thing starts. Does this Virgil also have a katana that can slice through dimensions in this Western? Unfortunately not, Maya. This one is just a wannabe playboy who's essentially a cowboy. He's a cattle wrangler, pretty much. That's on a ride from Texas up to Wyoming on a cattle drive. That Ghostly still is, even Ghostly never even made it that far in the script to where Virgil dies. But Virgil does die a very tragic death. But Virgil's the interesting character because Virgil is one of the few characters to be born a free man in the post-Civil War environment. So he's, unlike Nat, his sort of like pseudo-parental figure who was an escaped slave who fought for the North. But Virgil's kind of like the happy-go-lucky playboy who likes to go, who goes but he's a good-natured boy. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't give me, I already have it. All right, Ghostly, ready to write. Yeah, I don't know if you'd want to go. The whole point is that it's not smut. The whole point is that he's a playboy who can't playboy. That's the joke. That's what makes Virgil mildly charming. Is that he's always chasing after the ladies, but he can't really. He's a funny guy. It's a funny guy. That's all he's got. He's endearing in his misplaced confidence. That's why they call him Virgil the Virgin. Exactly. And that you did think of that, Ghostly. That was your name. Or your nickname, I should say. That was your nickname for the character, which I then, yes, incorporated. So they all call him Virgil the Virgin. I thought of that, and it's canon. It is indeed canon. Did you? You might have. You might have come up with the whole Virgil the Virgin. I can't remember if it was just the Virgin or Virgil the Virgin, both. Because I would know I was just writing down names, so it's very possible you did. Twilight, have I told you about Bob the Skeleton? You have not told me about Bob the Skeleton. Is this a thing? Is this a thing? Is this like a meme thing? Or is this a character? Do you have a character named Bob the Skeleton? Because that's good too. But I do not see anything about a Mr. Bob the Skeleton. Ghostly, calm down. Calm down. Jesus, your adoration of Virgil. Good lord. It makes sense why you'd like that character. So you do like your sort of like misplaced confidence meets sort of like still endearing fail people is what I call them. people that set out to do a thing and fail perpetually at it, but that's partially what makes them endearing. It's like a fail son, but everybody. Let me love the underdog twinks. Oh, that's funny. I guess they are all, in that kind of movie they are all underdogs. That's true. That's true. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. And yeah, I guess Virgil could be. Yeah, he could be. Yeah, he's younger 20s. I guess he'd qualify for that. This is a thing in chapter 16. He is a skeleton merchant, awesome, who sells unusual and otherworldly wares, as well as information since he has no sense of loyalty. He's also a smartass. Nice, I like this. It's good character. He also sells roasted nuts. His brand is Bob's Nuts, a mouthful of... Of course it is. Maya, of course. Of course that's his branding for it. Of course. This is a legit thing in story. I'm not fucking around. I'm not shocked by that at all, Maya. That does not surprise me. Although the general default character reminds me of there's a good parallel to that in there's a manga called Die Dark that I really like, and there's a sales merchant who lives with like the undead on this other side. She's not a skeleton. She herself is not undead, but she sells like things like that, and she's kind of like the jaded, no sense of loyalty, there to make a buck merchant, that sells things to like various, like undead. I guess you would call them wraiths. I think they're called wraiths in the comic, but kind of reminds me of that character a little bit. So it's a good parallel. Oh man. Oh, good times. Well, I am glad that we've reestablished some truisms, as Maya's very, very on point sexual jokes, and Ghostly's in forever love for the character Virgil. Twilight bats eyelashes. You're not still going to kill him, right? I don't know, Ghostly. I'm still undecided on that. I don't know. Hey, Plasma Grapes, how goes it? Welcome in. How goes the day? How goes the words? My editor recommended I remove it because it doesn't further the story. I mean, it makes sense, Maya, but sometimes if you want to add things for flavor, if that's part of what you want for, sometimes I can see that. Sometimes if you really want it in there as kind of, it's definitely it definitely is like, it vibes like a 12-year-old like sex joke for sure, but it is funny, so it just depends on the vibe you're going for. Bat's eyelashes. Ghostly. Just because you put it in all caps does not. Now I'm just imagining you're like going cartoonishly with your eyelash batting. It's going well at work. Okay, awesome. Dying from how slow it is and dying from the sun. Ugh, that sounds awful. Dying from the sun. Yeah, it's hot. It's hot here too, so we're all getting fried. So I hope you at least are staying hydrated and healthy for the most part, and and work is, it's too bad it's slow, but hopefully, usually if it's fast, it gets over with faster. So I don't know. Hopefully your workday passes fast, faster. He also recommended I remove any scene that didn't for the plot. So, I don't know. I'm give or take on that. It always depends on the type of story you're writing, but I do think that sometimes people prioritize plot far too much. But we've discussed that ad nauseum about, we tend to write a lot of vibes stuff. How's it going with me? Doing well, doing well, doing well. Trying to get back into the swing of things still, even though I'm literally gonna leave on another work trip in a week. But trying to scramble to get the rewrite bits of this script done, and then working on the pitch deck for this, because I need to get the pitch decks done soon. So pitch decks for the folk horror film, and then finish the pitch deck for the cyberpunk rom-com, while I'm also starting another script as well. I'm starting a sort of like action thriller that's kind of about cop culture, or like deconstructing cop culture, in kind of a modern sort of a modern critique of police culture, I guess I would say, while making it like a cop thriller action film in a way. So that'll be the next script I'm working on, I think. Next, like, feature script. White Light, I will die on this hill with my boy. I know you will, Ghostly. You are committing hard. You are committing hard to keeping Virgil alive. We'll see. We will see. That's an impressive, like, frustrated. That is impressive, Maya. How? God. You people are very, very. All of you are very proficient with keyboards in a way that blows my mind a little bit. That is impressive. But yeah, all right. Well, speaking of which, it is about 30 minutes into stream, which is usually when we start working on our thing. So actually, we are going to run an ad, and then we're going to dive into our first sprints. So everybody who's going to get hit by ads, I do apologize. Go ahead and mute, do all that, and then it'll run a big chunk of ads, and then there won't be any ads during the writing sprint. So that'll be good. All right, we're going to run those, and then we will start our sprints afterwards. So hang in there. We'll see you back in a couple minutes. I've worked with a lot of hold on. Whoop, there we go. I've worked with a lot of Diacritics creating my conlings, so I've gotten used to the usual characters. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Okay, I got it. Yeah. Well, it's impressive, Maya. I don't know. It's sometimes when I try to type nonsense, it takes me forever. So. Bam. All right. Actually, you know what? Let me switch over to what's happening. Okay. I'm gonna switch music while we do that. There we go. All right. Do do. All right. Cool. All right. Music is swapped over. Do. Let me see. Where are we at? Ooh. Offer a promotion. Amazing. Woo, we got a bot. Let's eat him, boys. Yeah, yeah. You know, sometimes it happens. Sometimes you get, a one or two. Ghost. Oh, Ghostly. Ghostly needs to learn how to use digital monies. Oh, don't worry about it, Ghostly. This is. Who's. This is Wagaki Band. Wagaki. It's very good. The song is called Queen of the Night. Um, these ads make me want to swallow sandpaper. Oh, I'm sorry, Ghostly. Interesting. I have been fighting the urge to drop everything. You're back from ads. Welcome back, Plasma Grapes. Perfect. Thank you for letting me know. Ads should be wrapping up here. Yeah, they should be. Okay, so we can dive into our sprints. I've been fighting the urge to drop everything to write a novel set in the World War II era and pour my soul into it. Interesting. Well, enjoy being like you got cast as a lead in a play. Like enjoy that. Don't drop everything. But for sure, um, but for sure, like, I mean, if you're feeling it, at least like start like, maybe start writing it or trying to play with like ideas. It's an interesting era for sure. It's definitely ripe for anything that might not be related to World War II since it's an overly the only thing is, like, as long as it's not about the war itself, I feel like that's just ground that's been covered over and over and over and over and over again. But the time around it, like what was going on outside of those things, is actually there's a lot of interesting stuff there. So, um, no shit, I haven't worked with Wagaki Band in years. Yeah, yeah, I think they actually just broke up. So, but I've been putting some of the more recent stuff on. All right, everybody. Why don't we dive into our sprints? Lots of work to get done, but if you're feeling chatty, obviously feel free to chat in the chat, I guess. Um, and yeah, we'll catch you all on the other side. Happy writing, everybody. Let's get those words. Oop, wrong thing. There we go. I wrote a little story once and never wrote anything other than poetry. I mean, poetry's the way to go. I write a lot of poetry for myself. All right, happy writing, everybody. We'll see you on the other side. Alrighty, everybody, that is the end of our first sprint. Hopefully it was a productive sprint. How'd it go, everybody? How did the writing go? I was gonna say, which one of us owes who a Coca-Cola, and not one from the turn of the century when cocaine was still involved. Oh, let me start the down timer. There we go. Oh, it's throwaway. Okay, yeah, throwaway joke. That's good. Good. Sounds like you're doing some good research, Ghostly. That's good. Ugh. Mine went well, too. The reason I'm even working on this script right now on stream is because I made some breakthroughs into how to solve a couple problems, and I wasn't able to finish it before stream, so that's why I'm working on this script. This script is always a laundry list of problems, but this is, speaking of personal projects and things like this script is definitely a bleed on the page script. I am glad that I have to try and bleed onto the page. You do a lot more theming than you give yourself credit for, Ghostly. You do write about things a lot more often. I'm glad to see you trying something like bleeding on the page, because that's, or at least writing like deeply personal things and infusing that into your story, because I don't know, it's important with art. I think if you have things to say, sometimes the most profound things we have to say usually come from deeply felt life experiences, or not even just beliefs or opinions. I mean, that's also the case too, but I feel like the nice thing about art, be it painting or literature or anything, or filmmaking or video games or whatever it might be, is that like it's so much of that, less of that has to do with like explicitly just saying something, which all work does, but it makes you feel a thing, which it can be far more powerful. Even if it's something that you've never experienced, or from a point of view or a worldview you've never experienced or don't necessarily subscribe to, you can like deeply feel things. So, and I feel like you have a better chance of doing that if you're really pulling, from the heart, like deep down. So, I'm glad to see you at least attempting it. Doesn't mean everything has to be like that. You can also just have your throwaway funny, throwaway things, but not gonna lie, Ghostly has a slightly sickly romanticized view of specifically the World War II era, because of the small masochistic side of Ghostly that likes things that made her miserably sad. Yeah, I mean, that's also reinforced very heavily. That's also, we culturally reinforce a very romantic view of that period. And it wasn't, but that's actually a good thing for you to contend, but like that's a good thing to like really confront when you're writing something like that, when you're deep diving into something that there's an awareness of. It doesn't mean that it's wrong or inherently bad to romanticize it in a way. It's just you need to be aware that you're doing it. A really good example of this is the way that the Victorians romanticize medieval culture. If most of the ideas we have about like knights and things like that came from the Victorians, because they really completely redefined history by these like the romantic knights, the chivalric knights, when chivalry meant something completely different. In actual medieval practice, it was a very different system, a totally alien system too. But we always do that, and it's good to be honest about that and then try and confront it. Oh yeah. If you ever want to read a great book about what it was like to be a knight in the medieval period, there's a great book by Barbara Thurman, who's one of my favorite historians, called The Distant Mirror. And she follows a specific family of French knights. I think like 5 or 6 generations through kind of what they were, both the height of their sort of like domain and then not. But yeah, oh yeah, all the Arthurian legend stuff. At least what we commonly know, particularly from like obviously Mallory's Linwood the Arthur, that all that's Victorian romanticization. None of that is real. Um, if Ghostly needs a good cry, she just looks up the going away photos from that period. I mean, because they're impactful. They hit hard. Um, and they were definitely hard at the time too. Um, but that's the hard thing about it is because we have so much built up into that because we've mythologized it so much and we've romanticized it deeply romanticized it. I mean, a lot of it, for whatever reason, we don't talk about a lot of that. I mean, like the brutal alcoholism, home abuse, the utterly emotional detachment that men had coming back, and not just men too, coming back from that war. um, we really, that particularly a lot of the guys who came out of a lot of that war, they didn't really survive it. Even if they did survive it, I mean, I had both my grandparents fought in that war. um, you know and they I my mom's uncle, my great uncle, I mean, he didn't have any of his fingers because he was such a raging alcoholic that he kept cutting off his fingers at the sawmill. And my grandpa just kind of took care of him, and he was on a ship that got sunk twice by German U-boats. He was on two different ships. He was on two different ships that both got sunk, that both were sunk. Um, and yeah, so it's rough. I don't know. I grew up with, particularly, maybe it was like the mountain thing, but I grew up with a very, my grandfather was pretty direct with me about what that world was like. He didn't talk about the war at all, but he was very direct with me of what life was like and what happened to a lot of those people, at least the people he knew. Um, I think there's a strange poetry to how transcendent that feeling is. I look at it and I understand it. Yeah, yeah. There is. I mean, because there's something universally human and romantic about that. We do really. It is romantic. Like when you grow up in a culture that is particularly warlike, just in terms of like how our society is defined. We come from a European mindset that was especially militarized, that just historically has been militarized for the better part of 2,000 years. So, like, we come from a culture that kind of sees these sort of things as these broadly emotionally stirring heroic things. Um, and I mean, that's like built into the way we're raised. Um, it's everywhere. The hero going off to war, the sorrow, the fact that the reality of it is that, and this is why I don't like war movies, and I never watch war movies. I don't find war heroic at all. It's just victims. It's just people murdering each other for the perpetuation of states. But it's very hard not to look at those and be emotionally moved because we're so embedded in a culture that is how we emotionally reckon with a a world that is heavily focused on militarism. Like, we come from that world, and that's there. uh I've been there. I have my own pictures from that goodbye. I don't know. I feel a connection to that losing something and not knowing if you're ever going to get back. Yeah, I mean, and war is definitely the most. Anytime sending people off to war is literally the most profound, one of the most profound ways we can experience that specific thing. But it's culturally experienced too. It's not just like in many other cases, people will have a feeling like that comes from, like, but it's a personalized feeling that like say someone, you have a picture of the last time you were with someone as they were going off on a trip or going off on something, and say they passed away on the trip or something tragic happened, but they have that picture. That's a more like individualized moment, or that you're always worried about. But war is a cultural thing. You're sharing that with a lot of people, broadly, which makes it more integrated and profound. It's more psychologically because we're communal creatures and we require communal relationships. Everybody experiencing that, it tends to make that emotion that much more intense. Um, there's a musical I've been listening to that touches really well on the question of heroism and war. It's very thought provoking. I mean, I'd be interested in looking at it, um, or listening to it. I think I've always been of the opinion that there are things that people can do that would be broadly considered heroic in a combat situation or a situation where lives are at stake. Um, but that systemically, broadly, what is happening is not heroic. Even if it's quote unquote like a just cause, like World War II would be a good example, fighting fascism, going and stopping fascism or imperial national, like ethno nationalism out of Japan or something like that, like a broadly justifiable cause to go to war. The actual all it is kids dying. That is the at its core. Everything else is a contextualization of a very, very raw fact that it is just broad industrialized murder, um, that we then contextualize to try to like sort of emotionally and rationally justify, not even justify it, just reckon with it. It's not even a question of justification. It's literally just how we emotionally reckon with something as horrifying as that. Um, because that's on the ground level. That's what it is. It's just kids being sent to their death. That's what war has always been and always will be, regardless of whatever broadly goes into it. So the actions themselves, like certain things that people do, can be heroic, um, but there's also it's war, man. Uh, it's war. War is uh, war is where you see moments of people doing what would be considered morally upstanding things, or things of like compassion or empathy. You're seeing equal amounts of cruelty, and I mean, war makes us mad. We go insane. We literally go insane. And so you see the effects of what happens when you have broadly industrialized murder meld with insanity. Um, and I mean, it happens in every war, for a reason. Um, oh, okay. It's a very personal telling of the Odyssey. Interesting. Okay, I'm not well versed with the Greek stories. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The King of Ithaca. Well, that's where we get it from. So we get it. We get where we get our sort of romantic mythologizing of war culture. It actually comes from the Greeks, very specifically the values of mutual retribution that were in Greek. So essentially, if you kill me, I kill you. If you kill my son, I go kill your son. These sort of like these things are very these things were sort of instituted very heavily in certain elements of Greek society. And like arguably there was attempts to get out of that, because the Odyssey kind of points out a very interesting contradiction where it literally just becomes people murdering other people's kids ad infinitum because honor dictates that you do so. So say someone goes, like, that's kind of what happens to Odysseus, where Odysseus just goes, all the suitors that try to marry his wife, he has to go kill all of their kids. Like honor dictates that he has to go do that, and he does. So it's like it's kind of this crazy thing. But anyway. Uh oh, yeah, the King of Ithaca. Yes, that is the song "Just a Man" was my gateway drug, and I will check it out from Epic. All right. I don't generally listen to musicals. I'm not broadly into them. There's like a tone and like musical type that bothers me, but I will give it a listen, mainly just for the musical. It's very reflective and very well done. That is good. That is good. I will see if anything that's at least moderately introspective and reflective on, or at least critical of what we're taught, is something that I or at least, you know, you can handle those emotions, but handle them in a way that can be very reflective on why we're even doing the thing in the first place, let alone why we feel certain ways about certain things. Why did I say this is someone who also doesn't like music? Okay, that's a good sign, Ghostly. Feels weird to say that I enjoy this. Okay, good. That actually is probably the biggest thing you could give. The biggest like vote of confidence you could give it. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, it's a loose adaptation of Homer's The Odyssey. Got it. Okay, got it. Interesting. Okay. I'm gonna listen to this after stream, Ghostly, while I'm working on some stuff. So and then I will let you know how I feel about it. Interesting. I don't know. I went through a period in my life where I was deeply obsessed with both the Iliad and the Odyssey. But that's kind of the beauty of the Iliad. The Iliad is in a lot of ways a great deconstruction of even the Greeks' own idea of warfare and the heroism of war. Like that's what makes the whole like situation between Hector and Achilles so tragic in that. And also why Achilles isn't really the good guy. You know, well, like you could argue. There's arguments to be made that the only sympathetic character, and even intentionally the only sympathetic character, is Hector. Like Ghostly actively goes out of her way to avoid musicals, and I've been listening to the soundtrack all day, and I was in tears. Like, oh, Ghostly. All right, okay, all right, all right, all right. You're doing a good job of selling it. You're doing a good job of selling it. All right, okay. I just realized the timer went off. Let me. Where are we at? Okay, we're gonna run a set of ads, and then we will dive into our next sprint of the day. So for everybody who's here, just go ahead and step away, make some tea, get some water while we have the ads run, and we'll see you back for the sprint. Oh, nice, for Damascus. That makes sense. Okay, for your Damascus playlist, that makes sense. And I have fallen deep. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. It's on point. It's on brand for a Damascus playlist. Do. Let me see. How am I on water? Okay, I think I've got. Oh, that's right. That's right. Man, it's hot. we back? Are we still in ads? Okay, we're back. We're back, everybody. All right. Back. Okay. Dog treats, antiseptic spray for piercings. Okay. All right. I mean, that makes sense. Okay. It's curated. It's curated to everybody, so that's fantastic. I guess. Very, very curious. Always curious what kind of ads they throw on there. Because every time I'm on Twitch and I suddenly see ads, it's terrible. It's like none of the ads fit. They never match me for whatever reason. So, also on his side, the guy who plays the King of Ithaca has a stunning voice. Would that be the? I wonder who plays. I mean, that would be Homer, or not Homer. Sorry, that would be Odysseus. Odysseus is the king of Ithaca. He's the king of his little island. But yeah, so much emotion. I had asked my coworker for a hug. Aw, ghostly. So, all right. Yeah, you're doing a good job selling it. So I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna do my best. I don't know if it's gonna hit me as hard as it. Yeah. Okay, so it's the person who wrote it who plays Odysseus, George Rivera-Herons. Okay, so yeah, so he wrote it and plays Odysseus. Okay, gotcha. It's probably not. I don't know if it's gonna hit me as hard as it hits you, but it might. I'm not gonna say it's not, but it might. It might. It's gonna be a very uphill battle to hit me that hard. But I look forward to an insightful song about the contradiction that is the character of Odysseus, because it is a compelling. Odysseus is put in a place that he can't escape due to the Greek, the the nature of Greek society, which is why he's an interesting character. Would you like? Sure, yeah. Go ahead, drop a collection of favorites. We're gonna go ahead and start the sprint, but go ahead and drop them in the chat. I'll listen to the whole album, but yeah, drop the ones that you like the most, and I will give them a listen. All right, we're gonna start the sprints. For everybody out there who's writing, good luck. Hope the words treat you well, and we will see you on the other side. And away we go. Alrighty, everybody, that is the end of said sprint. Let's go ahead and start the down timer. Hopefully it was a productive sprint for everybody out there writing. Bum, bum, bum. We're getting there. Slowly figuring this out. Slowly figuring out this stupid script that I am still working on. I think I've rewritten. I may have rewritten and reworked this script more times than almost any other script I've worked on. This one is a real pain. Alrighty, bam. Okay. Oh, is this the list? You got the list. Just a man. All right, survive because the end had me shook. Done for because it's iconic. Awesome. There are other ways, and even better continuation. Okay. No longer you. Kills ghostly entirely. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You're just dead. Oh, I'm going in. Oh, ghostly. Yes, I did spend the entire sprint curating this. Wow. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Those will be the tops. That's what I do. All right. Let me make this all right. See if I can make this. Oh my god, he has so many albums. Okay. Man, he's got the Troy Saga. All right. Oh, I gotcha. Okay, so it's all split up on different little records. Okay, so I will add the songs that you have listed. Okay, there's a playlist on Spotify of all of them in order. Okay, all right. I will add the official concept album. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna add the ones that you listed then. Nice. There are other ways. Oh, that was from the Cersei one. Nice. I love this. Yes to this. Okay. Oh, gotcha. Okay. I'll take a look. I don't have Spotify, so I'll just steal it. The name. I'll just steal the ones off. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Oh yeah, this is all of them. Okay. All right. Yeah, they're all listed. They're just broken up. They're just broken up by like each individual EP that they released. Oh, it's fine. It just gives me a reference. I'll use it. I can see the track list, so I'll just use that for reference. All right. Well, thank you, Ghostly. Perfect. I expect to be moved to tears. You've hyped this up, so I expect to be sobbing today while I make dinner and listen to these. So I'm ready. I'm preparing my body and soul. Ghostly, oh dear. Look. You know I am soft, Twilight. Yes. Yeah. This is true. Look. Many a movie makes me sob. Okay, I definitely am no stranger to tears and beautiful works of art making me sob. So the way you're talking it up, though, I better be crying. I am not old and jaded like you yet. Old, yes. Jaded, yes. Oh, but does not mean not prone to tears. Now, I am not jaded enough. Jaded does not preclude you from being able to cry now. I officially renounce the judgment that old jaded men do not cry. Because men, what is it from Big Lebowski? Men also cry. I am a soft little summer child. That is true. You are the sensitive summer child for sure. Said with love. Always said with love, Ghostly. Don't worry. Always said that way. Yeah, that's right. I can only cry masculine tears. That's right. Just I'm just so I'm so just so much of a man that I'm crying about it. Only crying when what would be like a hyper masculine thing that oh man, it's like I can't even tell. I can't even tell what like a hyper masculine thing is that would you'd be crying about. But I don't know. I cry. The sports, the football. When the football happened, I cried. I was, the super. They won the Super Bowl, so I cried about it. I didn't even play. I just watched. Um, I felt the need to add my thought process to the tracks. I do love your thought process. Yes, particularly the "I'm dead, Houston, I'm going down." This do not collect $200. You're describing your reaction to the songs perfectly. Just a Man needs no introduction. It's just all the feels. Okay. All right. Okay. Try to think the last time. What was the last? The last time I really like got hit hard, like where a song, like an album just wrecked me, was the most recent Big Thief album. Um, which is called. It's got a weird name. What was their most recent album? Um, but where is it? Where is it? Um, um, damn it! Why can I not find it? Oh, okay, yeah. It's a yeah. It's the album Dragon New Warm Mountain I Believe in You by Big Thief. That was probably the last album that I listened to that like had me sobbing throughout most of the album. I think I was legit crying listening to that album. And still today when I hear like certain songs off that album, I it still hits me like a ton of bricks. Um I also like that album came out. It came out in 2022 in February. Uh and I think when I first listened to it, I was pretty raw. I just gone through some pretty heavy shit. Um but there's like there definitely like yeah, that album hit me. Definitely had a few driving to the grocery store listening to it and just crying in the car. Definitely had a few of those moments. I added the that one to okay, the Damascus Just a Man to the Damascus playlist. I can't explain why my Damascus playlist is literally just reminds me of the boy for some reason. Oh, I mean that's yeah, it's fine. It absolutely works. Perfect. It's fine to have playlists that just remind you of, yeah, makes sense. No shame in it. Music usually doesn't do that to me. This is a strange experience for Ghostly. Oh wow, yeah. I've always been pretty emotional when it comes to music. I mean, movies. I've had a lot of movies that'll get the waterworks going, and that makes sense for me, just because of the way I experience and just how I feel about movies. That their language and grammar works really well on me. So if it's gonna do it, it's gonna definitely make me cry. But music, I've always had a pretty close. I mean, there was a period in my life where all I really had was music. Um, I had like a broken down TV with a VHS player in it, but we had like a stereo system for whatever reason. But even like it was hard to watch movies, so a lot of my youth was spent listening to a lot of music. So books break ghostly, yeah, that makes sense. Sometimes movies, rarely music. In the pyramid, yeah. See, I feel like that makes sense because you're as a writer, particularly a writer who writes prose and books, that's gonna I feel like whatever your like artistic affinity is for, like whatever medium you prefer is probably going to be the one that if it's going to elicit an emotion, it's going to do it stronger than any other type of medium. So it makes sense that books do the job. um yeah, interesting that rarely music. Yeah, I don't know. I maybe it's just, yeah, I don't know. Music always hit me pretty hard. Paint also slaps Ghostly in the face. Paintings do it too. I definitely have. I will have emotional reactions to paintings for sure. Yeah. I spent a lot of my youth at art museums, so I did spend a lot of time just looking at paintings because that was yeah, like a good painting, that good art. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep. Spent a lot of my time at art museums. That was a nerd gang, exactly. Yeah, that was kind of how my mom. I was. I think my mom like once my mom figured out how to like control me, I guess, or get me to stop being essentially not act out is like it was actually how most my the teachers who were the best teachers I had, how they figured out how to handle me is essentially if you once you crack the code, I was like a very easy kid to deal with. But if you didn't have that code cracked, I was a mess of a child. But that was like so. My mom was just like libraries, museums, and like art museums and movie theaters. They're just like just send the kid there, and you'll be fine. Yep, yep. That's how I was. All right. So I think where are we at? Okay. We are going to start our next sprint. This probably is going to be a contemplative child gag. Exactly, Ghostly. I think we are going to go ahead and start our sprint. The sprint will be the last, I think. Looking at the time, I think it's probably going to be the last sprint of the night. So, for everybody out there, let us go ahead and try to get at least some words done. I am going to try to get this script done. I don't think if it's actually, it's not going to happen. this, I've, I've barked up the wrong tree. I'm doing too much, too many rewrites. All right, everybody. Happy writing. We'll see you all on the other side, and away we go. Oh, hey, Worthy Advisor, welcome in with a raid. Thank you so much. We're actually just on our last sprint, so feel on free to join us. How did the stream go? How did everything go? But I will go ahead and go off mic just so everybody who is writing can keep writing, but I'll be active in the chat. But thank you so much for the wait. I hope everything's going great, Worthy Advisor. Hope all the words were hope the words were treating you well. Alrighty, everybody, that is the end of our final sprint of the evening. We're the advisor. Welcome, 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 and also welcome at the last bit. But hopefully those coming in were able to get a little bit of words done at the tail end there. But that yarn and spies, that sounds like a blast. It's two things I don't know a ton about. Well, I know a little bit about spies, but definitely don't know a lot about yarn and fiber, except for literally just people doing weaving and crochet. But the fact that you could like open the door to be like, oh, there's actually a history here that can be explored. That's like peak fiction right there, where you're like, oh, there's like real history that inspired this cool story. So it could even tie into my current series. Well, that's even better. See, there you go. Then you're like, now you're like already like pinging, a million different things together. So that's great. That's great. Well, thank you so much for the raid. Love to see you all, but unfortunately that was the last sprint. I have to go make dinner, take care of the cats, before I come back and finish beating my head against this script. The script I have rewritten more than any other script, and it's making me crazy. But we're going to go ahead and just drop into Oracle of Dusk for anybody who is still wanting to write. I'm sure they are doing all their sprints, so we will go ahead and drop in there. But yeah, thank you. Have a good night. Love you all. Take care of yourselves, and please, please, please be kind to yourselves and others as well. Till then, catch you all later. We'll see ya next week. Adios.